Hello there. Hope you're having a wonderful day. I want to thank you for watching my channel and supporting me. Today I thought I would talk about kefir. If you've never heard of kefir, they're called grains, but they're not. They're not like rice or oats or wheat or barley. They're not those kinds of grains. It's completely different. They are an organism that eats sugar for its energy and converts the liquid into a wonderful, delicious beverage. Now there's two kinds of kefir, and they're related, but they are different. One is milk kefir, and you put milk kefir in milk, and it eats up the lactose in milk as its food source to convert the milk into a wonderful fermented beverage. I like that in smoothies. This is water kefir. Now I've had water kefir in the past, and I kind of screwed up and the grains died. But recently I got new supply of water kefir grains, and I've been making some batches with it, and it takes a couple batches. This is, I believe, the third batch, either the second or third, I can't remember now. And it starts getting used to your water, your sugar, how you're doing it. So the first batch, because it's so healthy even for the animals, I threw it into a stock tank for the animals to get the probiotic benefits. And this is like, hey, if you're trying to get rid of soda, the first time I started drinking water kefir, soda just started tasting ugh to me. I haven't had soda since. I just couldn't even drink soda. And so I have been soda free ever since then. And the thing is, now, some people say that water kefir tastes like lemonade. Well, I'm not a fan of lemonade, but I like the first fermentation of water kefir. But you can do a second fermentation and add fruits and other yummy things. And if you put it in the right kind of container, it gets a little bubbly, and you've made yourself all natural fermented soda, a healthy product. So sometimes I do that, but I honestly love drinking it just like this too. And one of the benefits I have found, I'm very sensitive to food colorings, like in Gatorade and vitamin water, and even what do you call it? The cough syrups that have the food dyes, they all give me canker sores. I'm very, very sensitive to the reds and yellows and purple's the worst. Red and purple is just really bad. I just really break out in canker sores. And so the only kind of water that's available, the electrolyte waters that I can, well, one is Smart Water, because it's no flavoring, no sugar, just the minerals and stuff that you need when you get dehydrated. But that gets pricey. But this really, when I'm feeling dehydrated, this stuff really helps me a lot. Oh, I mean, it's definitely better than water. This is my to-go now for when it's getting hot. Like right now, the terrible, frightening thunderstorms that were throwing hail and tornadoes and stuff, that's just pattern seems to be gone, and I haven't seen rain in a week maybe. It's been humid and it's getting hotter every day. So I'm starting to have issues when I'm out here. The sweat is now pouring off of me, and I can only be out here a short time, and then I have to go inside and be in the air conditioning and just rehydrate. Well, this will make it a lot easier for me. So the first thing you got to do when you're making water kefir is you got to strain out the water from the grains. Now this is only a 2-cup measuring cup, but this is half a gallon, so no grains in here, but I have an empty jar here that I'm going to put this in. Now usually I do this in the kitchen, but my house is, I don't get it. It's so dark in there. I have a million lights I can turn on, and it seems bright to me. It seems really nice in there. I see just fine. But with my phone camera, whenever I record in the kitchen, it's just unbelievably dark. So I've just, I rarely. I find it better just to do everything outside. Okay, I'm going to pour this. It's all separated. See, I have, now I can put this in the fridge, get it nice and cold, and drink it. Or I can put it in, and I have one in the house, maybe I'll find one and show them to you. But I can pour some of it in there and add some fruit juice or something for a second carbonation, which I may do. Okay, now here's the grains. I don't know if you can see that. And they're just these, I don't know if it shows up for you or not. It looks kind of dark. But they're just, I mean, they're a lot bigger than milk kefir grains, but maybe you can see them better in this. So the next step you got to do is water kefir. I'm doing water kefir. I don't know if I said milk kefir or not, but I mean water kefir. Okay. Kefir eats the sugar. That's what it lives off of. So, step one for making a new batch is you need about a quarter cup of sugar. And it's just reuse. It actually does better if you just reuse the same container. You keep fermenting it in the same container until it gets nasty, which they eventually do. The containers will start getting rings around them and nasty. You can kind of see up here a little bit, but it's not bad. So you start off with a quarter cup of sugar. And then, and these things grow. That's how I'm part of a Facebook group that shares all sorts of things, not just kefir, but scobies for kombucha and just all sorts of stuff. But it takes a while to start growing. You want about a quarter of a cup of the kefir grains. Now, see, do I have another quarter of a cup? Kind of. Not quite, but almost. So probably what I'll do with this is I think I'll start a second batch because they have grown. I was given a quarter of a cup, which I put in here and made my batch of kefir, and then I did it again. Well, they've grown a teeny bit. It's not quite a quarter of a cup, but it's close to it. So I'm going to start a second batch and have 2 fermenting. After you've done, you put your sugar and your kefir in, you fill up the jar to about here or so. Not totally full because it expands a little bit. So you're going to fill this up a little bit, you know, And then you got to put it in a dark location. You don't want it in the sunshine. Uh-oh, where did... I lost my cover. The wind blew my cover away, so I'm going to need a new cover. I don't see it anywhere, but it'd be on the ground, and I'm not going to use something that's been on the ground again. Oh, I see it back behind the table. What you do is you get a coffee filter, an all-natural coffee filter. You don't want to use, a lid, because this is a fermenting product. Gases are going to escape and stuff. So you put a coffee filter or something similar that, any gases that build up can escape. I like to use one of these canning rings. I'll just put a coffee filter on it and just screw it down. And it works really good. Okay, I just went in the house and got some water. And in the process of doing that, I remembered something important. Now, I'm on a well. There's no chemicals. I don't put chlorine in my water. It's just natural water right out of the ground. What's going on with these birds over here? Not sure. But so I can use the water out of my faucet. But if you live in the city, or a town where your water is chlorinated or has any other kinds of chemicals in it, you got to get bottled water. You need some spring water or filtered water. You can't have any chlorine in your water. So that's something very important to remember. So I can use my well water right out of the tap, but if you're not on a well or you're not using rainwater, if you're using municipality water where it's got chlorine and other stuff in it, you're going to have to buy bottled water. So I'm just going to pour this water in. And while I was there, I got a coffee filter. Now, usually I get the undyed kind, but I haven't, because of everything going on, I've really just been staying in my own county. I haven't gone anywhere. And so I just using what I have on hand. This isn't even centered right. There we go. And it's done. I will go put it in a dark location, and my house is pretty hot. I keep it warm, so it's going to ferment pretty quickly. If you have a house where maybe it's really cold where you live, or you just really crank up the AC and keep it really cold, it's going to take longer. A good 2-3 days, this is going to be done for me. You may need 5 days, but whatever. I will put this one that's finished in the fridge. If it's still, now I didn't get to this, I kept forgetting to go get it. So it may have fermented too long. If I don't like the taste, I'll just throw it in the stock tank for the animals. It will be diluted and they'll get some probiotics, but it'll be just good for them. And I'll have another batch. I am going to make a second batch because though my I don't have quite a quarter cup, I have close enough to it that it might take a little longer to ferment, but it will ferment. So that's how you make water kefir. And like I said, it's probiotics. It's going to help you your GI tract. It's going to benefit you that way. It's a fermented product. It'll do wonders for your GI tract. It helps with, it's a good source of electrolytes when you're hot, you're overheated, you need fluids. It will help you it's better for you than Gatorade, which is full of chemicals and stuff. It's an all-natural product. It tastes great. You can do a second ferment and get, make a fermented beverage, a little bubbly natural soda, and not have, and because if you're diabetic, you don't need to worry because the kefir grains are eating the sugar. So I'm not going to say sugar-free, but it's kind of like that because you're not getting a whole bunch of sugar. When this finishes, this product right here, the sugar's already been eaten. So if you add fruit juice, you're going to get a little bit more sugar, but you honestly only add a little bit of fruit juice. It's not that much. And it's just wonderful. So if you've never heard of kefir, water kefir, or even milk kefir, check it out. But with water kefir, unless you're on city water, all you got to do is buy the sugar and keep redoing it. It's really cost effective. If you're on a city water, well, then you got to buy the water too. Milk kefir, you got to buy the milk, unless you have goats. And maybe someday, right now my goats aren't really producing. Well, they're producing, but the kids are drinking it all. So I'm getting very, very little. So I can't really make milk kefir at the moment, but hopefully soon the goats will start weaning their babies and I'll start getting milk, hopefully. But for now, consider getting some kefir grains and making yourself some water kefir. I absolutely love water kefir. So that's all for now, and I hope this was you learned something from this video. If you've never heard of water kefir and you check it out, and if you do check it out, let me know what you think. So you have a wonderful day and you take care.